venomous snake shedding problems, we don't have them here at Venom Central. And I'm going to tell you why. Hey, before we get started, I want to thank the whole Venom squad for all the support you guys have been giving us, all the love you've been showing us. But I want to say a special thank you to some of our generous supporters. Tyler Bunting, thank you so much, bro. Leonard Recchia, I'm hoping that I'm pronouncing your name right, bro. Paul Breslin, thank you so much, Paul. And of course, Sean Black. Thank you, Sean. What's up, my Venom squad? Hey guys, today, this is going to be part one of a series, okay? And this is going to be a 5-part series. And we're going to hit on the 5 most common health problems with your venomous snakes, okay? And we're going to start today with shedding. Everybody's always got shedding problems. We don't have them here at Venom Central, and I'm going to show you why. I'm going to teach you guys some processes and some different tips and tricks if you do have problems. Because of course with a venomous snake, you're not picking it up and peeling it like you would your python or a colubrid or something non-venomous. Class is in, guys. I'm going to teach you some very important stuff about shedding. And we're also going to have the fangs in your face. Okay, the shedding process. You know, a snake's going to do it from the time that he's born to the day that he dies. So it's a pretty important part of their life. You know, baby snakes do it like within the first week when they hatch or when they're born, you know. Remember I was telling you about the baby rattlesnakes. The most important thing is to get a clean shed off them, like my little racks. Before I even put a baby rattlesnake in that little tub, I just hit it with a light mist. Then I put them in and close it up just to jack that humidity up to get a clean shed off that snake. But when snakes are shedding, this is what's happening, okay? They're growing. Snakes shed for a number of reasons, and it's mainly because of growth. They're growing, so they're growing into a new size. And when snakes are doing this, when they're shedding, their bodies are naturally releasing an emollient, and it comes from their skin, from the inside. And damn rattlesnakes ain't gonna shut up, baby. And what happens is when the snakes are buzzing, the camera picks up that sound and it fuzzes me out. but anyways, so when they're releasing that emollient, it's separating that old skin from the new, okay? And then that's the process of them being able to crawl out of that old skin. And they roll it backwards like a damn sock and comes off in one nice piece most of the time, unless you're having issues. And that's what this video is about. Now, the problem is snakes can have problems shedding for a number of reasons, okay? Improper humidity, improper diet, stress. Stress is a big one. I mean, stress can really hinder a snake from shedding correctly. Something as simple as using hide boxes in your cage so a snake feels comfortable to go through its natural process of everything. If a snake is stressed, nothing's going to be right, you know what I mean? But the thing is, if that shed retains and gets stuck on eye caps, I mean, a snake's eye has actually got, there's a protective scale over it, and it comes off with the rest of that skin. You know, if you retain that skin and it's not removed, you're opening Pandora's box. You're getting a lot of other problems that are going to arise from that stuck skin. And the reason why is when that skin gets stuck to them and it's on there for a period of time, that emollient that's separated initially, and if that skin was just hard enough where it couldn't come off or it got stuck to them, it starts to grow bacteria. And then you're getting scale rot. Then you're getting all kind of different diseases. Just like if you're keeping a snake too wet, it gets belly rot. It gets them little pink spots, and then it turns into sores. And the next thing you know, it turns into septicemia, and it gets into a snake's bloodstream, and that's a death sentence. And there's no coming back from that. So getting that old skin off is very important. The process I use, now I'm not downing other keepers in the way they do things. This is just the way I do things, and it's worked very well for me. And I want to teach you guys how to keep your rooms, how to keep your enclosures the proper way so you're not having these shedding problems. And that's what we're going to start with, okay? Okay, guys, and the way that I run my operation, and I mean, in all my snake rooms, and I've got several snake rooms, one of the most important things, of course, is humidity. You know, I'm not real big on like spraying snakes down, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why you shouldn't do it. Keeping them wet during the shedding process and all that, it's just the wrong thing to do. It really is. I condition the air. I mean, literally, it's a big thing with me. It's a stickler with me. I mean, fresh air is really important to me. And I mean, the right temperature and the right humidity. Humidity is everything when it comes to the shedding process. And when I say humidity, I mean the room. We condition the whole room for every snake in the room. And I understand that some people may have, you know, just units with a few snakes. They may keep a couple snakes just on exhibit for their personal pleasure to watch them or whatever, but and you don't have a whole room full of snakes like we do. And there's different ways to keep that unit itself humid. And it requires misting, you know, but I condition the air, okay? Air conditioner, humidifier. I run humidifiers in all my rooms. Okay, they actually, and it's summer right now, and we're running the air conditioning, so the humidifiers are working overtime. Most people are just using water right out of the tap for the spray bottles and all that stuff, okay? I don't. If I'm using something to spray around my animals, or if I have to spray my animal, period, I use distilled water. Distilled water is the way to go. And this is why. Because tap water has got a lot of stuff in it that is going to build up on a snake's skin, okay? There's calcium in it, there's chlorine in it, there's all kind of the metals they put, all the stuff that they put in it. For an experiment, try this at home on your own. Get one of them. Here, I got some right here. You know, I use these little microwave dish things, you know, for water bowls. I use them for little hide boxes. Just try this on your own. Get one of these little black ones, just put a little bit of water in it. Put it in one of your snake's cages. Let it completely dissipate till the water's gone, and see what you got in the bottom, okay? You're gonna have that white film, you're gonna have that white dust. That's what you're spraying on your snake, okay? And a snake that's getting ready to shed, that's building up on his old skin, and it's making that skin tougher. It's not softening it up so it comes off easy. You're making matters worse. And guys that keep arboreals, you see them spraying all the time. It drives me crazy. I'm like, God, I wish they'd stop doing that. Because they don't realize if they're not using the right water, if you're using tap water, all you're doing is just spraying all that crap on your snake. And then when the snake dries, that's still sitting there, okay? And then when that snake goes to shed, it's going to make it tough on him, okay? So try it yourself. Get one of these little black things and you can really see the remnants of what's in that water after it's dried up. So when I see a snake go into blue, you know, I don't mess with them. I leave it alone. I don't do anything. I'll wait till that snake's eyes start to clear up, because normally a snake will go into blue. First thing you're going to see is him getting dull. You know, the shedding process is coming, you know, and then his eyes are going to cloud up and they'll get milky blue, and some of them get really dark. And then they're going to clear up. And then, you know, shedding's coming within 3 to 4 days, okay? But when I see them eyes clear up, that's when I'll take action. Especially if snakes are in bigger exhibits. That's when I jump on it, okay? That's when I'll get my mister. I'll mist the walls of the cage. I'll give the damn substrate a light mist just to jack up that humidity in there for a little bit. And let me tell you, and you can spray the snake at that time, as long as you're using the damn distilled water. You know what I mean? Because it's not going to be a buildup on that old skin like from using tap water. And that's the only time I do it. And I never spray the snake. I just spray around it, and I get clean sheds. You know, so using tap water is bad. The damn distilled water, if you must spray the snake, it works better. It really does. It's a big difference. I mean, a lot of guys that run misters and like their arboreal cages and stuff, and you know, I've got some of them misters and I never use them, but I was reading instructions on one, and a lot of them, you know, direct you only use distilled water in the misting system because they're so fine, and the damn little needle points that make that fine mist. You know why they tell you to only use distilled water? Because tap water builds up. Same thing. When it builds up on a snake's scales, after you spraying them every day for 2 weeks, it's building up and it's making it tougher. So wait till he's out of blue, Then go ahead and start your misting and you'll get clean sheds. The only time I'll actually spray a snake, and I do it with distilled water, is if I see him in the process of shedding, just starting, then I'll go ahead and give him a little mist on his body. So it just gives him a little helping hand to roll off easy. So it stays in one piece. But distilled water, I'm telling you, just something as simple as that is a big game changer. Because when you're using tap water, you're making things worse. And the second thing, humidifiers, air conditioners running, all that stuff to keep your room right. If you don't have a big room like this and you got units, just say in your living room or whatever the case, okay, and you have to spray them enclosures to jack up that humidity to get nice sheds, don't spray the damn animal. Spray the walls of the cage, lightly spray the substrate, whatever the case may be. Because if you leave that snake sitting in wet substrate too long, you're going to create a bunch more problems. You're going to create pink belly. Bushmasters are famous for it. You know what I mean? I never spray my Bushmasters. Never. I'll spray the walls of their cage. I don't spray their newspaper. I keep them all in newspaper. I don't spray the newspaper or none of that. I'll spray the walls of their cage. But I got a humidifier in my Bushmaster room. Keeps that room at 77 to 80% humidity. And I never have to do nothing. I never have to touch them. I don't have to peel them. I don't have to do nothing to them. We get perfect sheds all the time. And I've peeled a bunch of Bushmasters, trust me. There's a way to do Bushmasters. I'm not going to tell you how I do it. You think I'm crazy. But water, guys. The water that you use is important. I'm telling you right now, distilled water. I use nothing but the best bottled water for all my schlegs, all of that stuff for drinking. And if I got to mist them, for whatever the reason may be, if I got to mist the cage, which I only do that once every couple of weeks, because they got the right humidity. Now, snakes don't live in the water. They don't need to be rained on every day. Even though in the wild, they're getting them showers every day. But you know what? It dries up like that. It dries up quickly, and they're dry. They're not living in water. When you got a snake contained in a unit, okay, it's holding that humidity, it's holding that moisture. It's not drying up as quickly as if it was outside with a nice breeze blowing over it and drying it up. It's the wrong thing to do. And now this is just my point of view, guys. And I know there's a lot of keepers that watch my channel, and you guys might do things your way, and that's fine if it works for you. This is just what I do, and I've been very successful. I mean, what other channels show you all the stuff we do? I mean, we produce everything. We produce Bushmasters. We produce eyelash vipers like popcorn. And so I'm doing something right. You know, and to get them clean sheds, it's conditioning. It's keeping your rooms correct, keeping the cages correct, and the right diet. An overfed snake, a snake that is too heavy, isn't going to shed right. A snake that's not fed enough isn't going to shed right. It's husbandry. Good husbandry, and you'll get good clean sheds. I never soak a snake. The only time I soak a snake is if I get something new and it's got a dry shed on it, or I'm trying to help somebody else out, or I'm trying to help an animal that belongs to somebody else, but I got a system for that, to soak a snake. Giving snakes a bath, I don't do that either. I mean, the only time I can a snake with water in it is if it defecated and it crawled through it and it's got crap on it. Then I'll put them in a can, and I normally don't soak them in water. I get my sprayer with distilled water, fill up my sprayer with it, and I hose the snake off with the sprayer. I just spray him off till he's clean. I get him out of it, you know. And here's my bugaboo about soaking snakes, okay? Yes, if you get one with dry shed on it, it's good to soak them for a little bit so it loosens the skin up and the skin comes off easier. That's common sense. But soaking them just to soak them, this is the problem. Usually when you put a snake in water and it's stuck there and it can't go nowhere because it's stuck in water, it starts moving around a whole bunch. It starts getting active, and water temperature is important. If your water temperature is too high, you'll throw that snake into shock. You know what I mean? Cooler is always better. I mean, room temperature water is always better, but it's going to defecate in that water. And then it's going to drink that water. And that's not good. You know what I mean? So I don't give snakes baths. I don't do that. If I have to clean them up, a little bit of water, I hose them down with my sprayer, then remove them immediately. And realize that every time you're spraying your snake down, it you think, well, he needs to get misted today. I'm gonna mist him down just for the hell of it, because it's good for him. While he's drinking off of his body, spray everything else around it. They'll drink off the leaves. They'll drink off other objects. The most important thing, you might think that it's not that big of a deal, is cleanliness. I mean, having your cages pristine, clean all the time, because there's gonna come a time when you see that snake starting to dull up, you know that the shed is coming, okay? He ain't gonna be his own vibrant. So I'm gonna pull the big canebrake out and show you, because he just shed and he's electric right now. You know, the snake is just gorgeous. The canebrake that's been making all the noise during this video. This is the snake that I showed you the big shed in the beginning. Now, if you go back and watch the timber versus canebrake video we just done not too long ago, this is the canebrake that we had in that video. And if you notice, I said, you know, he's really dingy, he's really dark right now, he's going in the shed. But I want you to get a look at him now that he's shed, and he's just vibrant and pretty. And that's the whole process of it. Yeah, look at him now. He is gorgeous now. I'm holding his rattle so he don't make no noise. I mean, that is a beautiful canebrake. I mean, the color on this guy is exceptional. What a beauty. But look at the difference. Go back and watch that video, guys. The timber versus canebrake, and take a look at him then when he was this coiled up on the floor in front of me compared to now. I mean, now he's gorgeous. And that's what the shedding process is about. You know, out with the old and in with the new. And also shedding, you know, for snakes in the wild, it's got a lot of purposes. You know, shedding will, you know, it helps them get rid of external, you know, parasites, you know, ticks and mites and red bugs and all the little things that snakes forget, you know. But and also it's all for growing. You know, they're growing out of that old skin. So just a quick look, guys. Look at how beautiful he turned out. He's gorgeous. And he's growing. This is like the third shed he's been through since he's been here at Venom Central. But let's go ahead and put this guy back in his enclosure and move on to video. Okay, guys, and we've got one of our neotropicals that actually just shed tonight. And when we were coming in here to film this, I noticed there was shed skin in there. So it's a good example to show you how I do my process, how I examine a snake, how I look at the shed to make sure I got my eye caps off and all of that stuff. And it's just, you know, you just check it no matter what to make sure that everything's right, you know. But this snake's a mean bastard too, so I gotta be extra careful. And this one actually looks like it went in a few pieces, but I'm pretty confident they got it all off, and he got it all off in one shot. All right, that in there, and let's pull. Now this is one of our male culminatus. Oh yeah, he's nice and shiny and pretty. Attaboy. Oh yeah. Brand new. And I'll make sure everything's come off all the way to the tail, and I'll examine him. And he's good. He is clean as a whistle. That is a beautiful rattlesnake. Yeah, Bubba. He's actually behaving today. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and can him. And now let's pull this shed out of here, and I'm going to examine this shed so you guys can see what I'm talking about here. Oh look, and it's still wet. Now I don't know if the camera can pick that up. You can see it's still slick. Okay, that's the emollient I'm talking about. You know, snakes actually expel this emollient from their skin when they're getting ready to shed, and separates this old skin from the new one. And this thing is still wet because it's actually turned inside out, you know. But we got one continuous piece. You see, and then when I see this, guys, when I see some of it that tore, that's when I take a good look at the snake and make sure all the skin's off, in which we already examined him. He's got nothing on him. That means it just tore during the process, but he was able to work it back down to this part of his body and get it back so it rolled off like a sock, you know. But notice something now. When you see this, guys, when you see, look, it's all the way up to his chin, but his head's not on there, okay? So what I got to do is find the shed for his head. I want to make sure both eye caps came off. There's the bottom nape of the neck. Look here. Okay, now here is the head. Now I'm going to spread this out so you guys can see this. And I always check it to make sure that I've got both eye caps and that kind of stuff. But let me set that flat in my hand so y'all can see that. Now, look here. There's one eye cap, and right there is the other eye cap. There's his complete head. And notice, look at it. Here's his whole bottom jaw. That's the bottom jaw and the head. And both eye caps are good. Do you got it, D? Put my hand where you need it, babe. With my old bent up, broken fingers. This finger looks like a corkscrew. But there it is. And that's a successful shedding. And it's all about keeping the room, guys. I mean, conditioning your air. You want the whole room humid. You want your snake room humid. You want the right humidity, but I mean, you don't want it sticky. I mean, I know some guys that are in South Florida, they actually run dehumidifiers in their room because it's too humid, you know. But in the summer it's tough because you're running an air conditioner, so I run damn humidifiers constantly. I mean, I've got one going in here 24/7, and when it's really hot out, like when we're in the 90s every day, and it's stinking hot, I fill my humidifiers up with ice, so they're almost like a damn air conditioner, but it's nice, cool mist. And conditioning the air, you get nice, clean sheds off your snakes, you know. But we're going to teach you some tips and tricks on how to get these clean sheds, guys. Okay, we're going to put the culminatus back. He had a nice, clean shed. One piece, it tore a little bit, but he got it all off. It come off easy. And checking for them eye caps is important, because when snakes get eye caps and you don't catch it, and they end up getting 2 or 3 eye caps, you got big problems. And guys, now let me tell you something. I've heard this said a bunch of times, and they're going, well, we just put tape, you know, neck the snake and get some masking tape or some Scotch tape and put it on there and pull the eye cap off. Never do that. Okay? That is the worst thing to do. I seen someone try that trick, and then they call me. They go, hey, we got a big problem. Can you help us? And I go over to this other facility, and I go, what'd you do? We put tape and tried to pull an eye cap off. They damn near pulled the snake's eye completely out of his socket. It was hanging there. I mean, it was horrible. Don't do that tape trick. I mean, it can work in some instances, but it's not good. Do not put tape on a snake's eye and try to pull an eye cap off. Don't do that. And do not peel an eye cap off backwards. Don't do that either. They're not designed to come off backwards. They got to come off the way that they're made to come off, from a snake's nose to its crown to its head to the eye cap. You start from the front and we're back. And I use a fingernail if I got to, or I mean, I used to use tubes with a bunch of holes drilled in them, and I would get the snake in a tube, and I'd have 100 holes in them, and just reach in with tweezers and start from the front to the back and kind of pop them off. But don't use the tape trick, guys. That's the worst thing in the world to do. But let's put this guy back real quick. This is a beautiful rattlesnake. I love the culminatus. Next season, guys, we'll be producing these. These guys are getting cycled for breeding. And this snake's usually a mean bastard. That's one of my favorite neotropicals, the culminatus. But he is a pretty boy. Oh, they're gorgeous. All right, Bubba. We cleaned them all out, gave him fresh water. Now he'll be ready for a meal. But we'll feed him tomorrow. Don't bully him. Let him go in there on his own. Get in there. I ain't got time. Get in there. All right. Okay, guys, we're going to move on. Okay, guys, and talking about, you know, when you do have that problem of a stuck shed and retained shed and it's got to come off, you know, just like I was showing you with the Culminatus, you know, and talking about the eye caps coming off and things like that, you know. Now, when I get a snake, if it's got a stuck shed or a retained shed, and let me tell you, you kind of got to soak them a little bit to help loosen that shed so it comes off easier. It just softens it enough so it comes off easier. I've got a box that I use to do that with, and unfortunately I loaned my shed box to somebody here just a few days ago, but just to show you just the premise of how we do it, okay? I always use a shallow tub, okay? And now I wouldn't use this tub because it's got these big holes in it, but my tub is shallow like this, and I just have a couple air holes in it so I can hold enough water, okay? And the thing is, now the holes are there for the air, but the holes have a purpose, okay? Now, Dean Reaper taught me this trick, and it works like a charm, okay? Holes up high, and you know them plants you go buy from like you know, your big chain pet stores, the big long streamy plants that you put in a fish tank, okay? They're designed to be in water, and they're a little rough, they're, you know, and they're big long streams of them. Take them damn plants, that damn green stuff that you decorate your fish tank with, and you stick them in the holes, and you run stringers of them, okay, back and forth, and you pile some up in there, and you kind of make like a big spider web in there with them plants, okay? And don't be afraid to put a bunch of it in there, all right? And then you go ahead and put your water in. And I always use enough water where the snake is completely submerged. And I use these short tubs now, so the snake ain't climbing up and sitting on top of them plants and staying out of the water. You want them to stay in the water, but them plants in there, strung from hole to hole, you're kind of anchoring them in there, okay? And balling them up in there. And you fish that snake so he crawls underneath that stuff with your water in there, and lit it up, and leave him in there. Leave them in there for several hours. And another thing I do when I do this process to remove stuck shed is, I used to use olive oil. I would just a couple of drops of olive oil, mix it in the water, then run my plants and do all that stuff. But this stuff does work. This Shed Ease by Zilla. And now I'm not getting a kickback from Zilla. I'm not sponsored or nothing like that. I'm just showing this product because it works. Because I used to use just a few drops of olive oil, but this stuff works. It's got some kind of emollients in it and stuff, and it helps that skin soften up so it comes off easy. And I take this stuff and just squirt it all in that water. I don't read the damn directions. Only use so much per ounce, whatever. I put a liberal amount in there and mix it up real good with the greenery, them damn fish tank plants. This stuff, the water, lit it up. Trust me, it works. It works like a charm, because the snake is crawling through that stuff and it's grabbing that skin and it pulls it off. And it might take a couple hours, it might take 3-4 hours, but it works like a charm. Okay, it really does work. And my buddy Dean showed me that. He goes, use some of that green stuff in there and it helped pull that skin off, and it works. It works great. Now that's good with smaller animals, you know, mid-sized animals. But it does work. And I wish I had my box to show it to you guys, but somebody else is using it with a copperhead with a stuck shed. But now, when I get a bigger animal and literally I've got to put my hands on it, I'll line up some tubs on the floor and tail it. After I've soaked them for, you know, maybe an hour, just to help make that skin a little softer, you know, while it's still wet, it'll come off a little easier. I'll line up some tubs on the floor like a maze, and I'll let the snake start crawling through it. And I'll stand back and just hold him by his tail and just start picking, okay? And try to get strips off that way. And sometimes, if I have to, this is another old trick. I've been doing this for years, okay? I'll ball up newspaper, nice tight ball of newspaper, and put it in my tongs, or even my big Gentle Giant tongs for bigger snakes. and squeeze it in there. For some reason, newspaper, when it's damp, not wet, just damp, it grabs shed skin like crazy and it sticks to it and it pulls off easy. Now I'll do that technique too. But I have another technique that I do with bigger snakes, like a snake, like a big snake, you know, a big 6-foot fer-de-lance or a big bushmaster. I'll ball up newspaper. I'll get newspaper and I'll make 50, 60 newspaper balls, right? I mean, tight as I can get them. I'll put the snake in the tub, right? And I'm talking about a tub just enough where you can squeeze box him in there, okay? I'll mist the newspaper. And it's setting aside. The snake's already in the tub with no water in it. And I'll start tossing in the newspaper balls. And I'll fill that thing up where the snake's completely covered up with them wads of newspaper that are damp, not wet, enough where when I'm putting the lid on it, I have to push it down. And you're squeezing that snake. You're kind of making a tight fit with all the newspaper, and it's kind of squeeze boxing him a little bit where he's got to push himself around in there, and that wet newspaper will grab that skin and peel it right the hell off. It works like a charm. I mean, you're not crushing them. It's almost like a sponge. Newspaper balled up, and just fill it up to where you got to push the lid down on there lightly to close it. And he's pushing his way through there in that damp newspaper balls, and he's fighting his way through there and exploring. It's pulling that shed skin off all on its own. It works like a freaking charm. But last but not least, let me tell you something. If I get something that needs attention, I mean serious attention, where I got to put my hands on a big venomous snake for a period of time, say 2 or 3 stuck eye calves. You know, a big thing with a lot of your pit vipers is they'll get, if shed don't come off of their head, their damn heat sensory pits will get infected. They'll get clogged, and sometimes you got to remove that stuff out of there and treat them. And I've seen them swell up and get really gnarly looking and turn into a nasty infection if you don't get that dry shed out of a heat sensory pit. I knock them out. I put that damn snake asleep. If it's a big fer-de-lance or a big bushmaster or whatever the case, a big rattlesnake, and I still handle them like they're awake and ready to rock and roll. But I use a nebulizer, okay? Just a nebulizer you can buy at the damn drugstore, okay? Here, let me bring this over a little closer, Dina. Okay, now this is one that I built. I use a nice airtight Sterilite tub, okay? I drill a hole in it that fits my, right there, that I can fit my nozzle in. Nebulizer turns everything into a fine mist, turns a liquid into a mist, okay? And what you do is you fill your little cup up here, okay, with your knockout juice. All right, now we used to use isoflurane a lot, but now I'm using Sevflo. I mean, the Sevflo, it's a little stronger. It knocks the snake out quicker. And it's now literally, it's just putting that snake asleep for about 20-30 minutes, okay? It's not putting him completely under. It's just putting him asleep. He's taking a nap. But fill that up with your isoflurane or Sevflo. Put it back on there. Turn that son of a bitch on, and it'll go brrr, and it's turning that, pushing air to that, and it's actually a little fine mist of that drug is going in the air. The snake's breathing it in. About 15 minutes, that snake will be dead asleep. I mean, he's out like a light. Then I'll open that thing up, let it air out. I'll still neck him, okay? And then I can stretch him out, and I can work on whatever I need to safely for 20 to 30 minutes. And what's good about this system is you're not stressing out the snake. The snake's not fighting for its life. I can tell you this: bushmasters do not do good getting necked. A lot of people neck them, they end up hurting them. It stresses them out so bad they'll stop feeding. Big bothrops are a little tougher, but your lechisis, a lot of rattlesnakes. I mean, why stress them the hell out? Necking them and restraining them and fighting them every inch of the way, putting yourself at risk and putting the animal's health at risk to take an eye cap off Or, I mean, one eye cap, you can pull it off. You can get it done quickly. But a buildup of eye caps or an infected pit or skin that's stuck to a snake's head where you need time to work on that animal, I knock them the hell out. I do it the safe way. I put them to sleep, okay? And after I work on them for 20, 30 minutes, I get my job done. I put them back in this tub and I let them wake up, all right? Or I'll transfer them into a different tub, one with air holes. But the important part of doing this, guys, if you don't know what you're doing with this, you will kill that damn snake because it's about stimulation. After that snake is starting, you'll notice when he's waking up, his tail starts moving around. He'll start getting a little bit of life back in him. You got to go in and stimulate that snake every 5 minutes. You got to touch him with the hook, push him around, and get him to keep moving until he snaps out of it. But once he snaps out of it, he's ready to rock and roll. He's brand new. So, I mean, this is a little advanced. I mean, but when you're working with what I work with, you got to take every safety precaution. And I use the nebulizer. I'll knock their asses out and then do what I need to do. You know what I mean? Because it's not worth a $500,000 doctor bill or me losing my life to fix something on a snake that I can put to sleep and do it safely. But that's the ultimate end all when it comes to doing something like that. Hey guys, don't run off. Fangs in your face is coming up. All right, here he comes. Here he comes. Here he comes. Come on, buddy. He's getting ready. And bang! Very good. Good job, buddy. Here you go. Here he comes. Come on, buddy. Come on. Oh, yeah. Attaboy. Attaboy. Good job. Here he comes. He is thermal bobbing. Let him pick up this rat. All the way out, buddy. That's it. Come on. Bang! Oh! Oh, that's the money shot. That boy right there, he was on target. That was cool. Here she comes. She's coming in kind of slow. Yeah, that's it, girl. That's it. Come on, girl. Straight in. Straight in. She's gonna go. She had to come over the edge and grab it. That was cool. Atta girl. Look at her, she's taking it up. Alright guys, I think we need to get this black timber on the Venom cam before we send him back to the zoo. Oh, nice! Actually seen some venom fly out of there, I think. Then I've separated out a couple of the neotropical rattlesnakes. These are the ones I've had starting to pair up in our new vision cages, but I'm separating them when I'm feeding them. But let's get a meal into this little girl. Let's see if we can get that good head-on strike. And she's locked and loaded. Here she comes. Oh, nice bite! And she's hanging on in true Dorissus fashion. Very nice. You can see I've moved Rattlesnake X into the feeding tub. And she has successfully bred with that big male hybrid. So we're going to get a meal into her, and I want to make sure she gets her food, especially now after she is copulated. But we're going to go ahead and get her on the Venom cam. Here she goes. She's getting loaded. Oh, that was a good bite, girl. Good bite. That was cool. Good bite, baby. All right, there, sweetie. And look at that. Look at this here. You can see the fang placement. Bam. One there. And bam. One there. Perfect 2 holes. Look at that. Hey guys, I hope you found some of this stuff interesting and at least some educational properties to it. But anyways, hey, if you're a venomous keeper, don't take them unnecessary risks. I mean, try my different techniques and hopefully it helps you guys. And hey, come on back to Venom Central, and we got a lot more coming. This is the first of a 5-part series, guys. Okay, so we're gonna try to do one every couple weeks in between our fun videos, okay? But hey, if you're new to the channel, hit the V logo and subscribe now. And this is Willie from Venom Central. We're checking out. Later.